Okay, hello and welcome. It's a Berta Blab, not even on Blab. I'm just going to start owning Blab. Blab's mine now. And today I'm with Ricci-Jane and Mitle, and we're going to talk about who we are and what we do. And we might even give a tip on how to be awesome.
Maybe.
So I'm going to do a rough appraisal of Ricci-Jane, what Ricci-Jane does. This is always my funnest thing, is trying to describe what everybody does. Ricci-Jane works with intuition. She helps people understand that they are intuitive, whether they know it or not. And she actually runs this thing called the Lightworker Institute, where she teaches everyone to just be like totally tapped into their intuition. But there's more. No, there's more than that. What else do you do?
Well, that is, that's the heart and soul of the Institute, is teaching people how to open to that aspect of their own nature. And I also do private sessions. So if people want to come and, get more information about what's going on for them right now in their life, we are all intuitive, but we also have great blocks to our intuition. And so come and see me. We can help clear out those blocks, which are usually fear, always fear. Fear is what impedes us from knowing that we're talking to the universe and the universe is talking back. And that, I think you kind of nailed it, Berta.
That's come me. On. But you have... All right, well, if I was going to have a session with you, what would you do to me?
Well... What wouldn't I do to you? No. What I would do to you is, when you come and have your initial session with me, you can think of it like a energy evaluation. So I'm looking at you from your true nature, which is you are energy. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for all the problems or the blocks. So you have this beautiful, vibrant energy body which informs your physical body, but you have blocks in that energy body that are built up over time through inherited beliefs, through fear, through all sorts of different ways. And so we go in and we look at that through your chakra system, and then we also look at your subconscious mind. Because your subconscious mind is part of your energy body as much as it's part of your, the layers of mind in the kind of psychoanalytical model. And it informs your life 95 to 99% of the time. We're actually operating from our subconscious.
Yeah.
And our subconscious has a photographic memory of all of our hurts and wounds. But the other thing that I find when I go into your subconscious is where your negative self-beliefs began, and very often they're not even from this lifetime. So we go back to the instigating event in whatever lifetime, and we cut the cords of energy to that, and we integrate the lessons to complete that karmic cycle. And then we go through each of your chakras, and we're looking at the physical body, and we're looking for any problems there. We're looking at the energy body, and then we look at the soul body. And that's really what happens in a one-on-one session. And then over time, if we keep working together, we work to clear out those fears, because some of them are stubborn, and some of them are cultural and societal, and we don't even realize we're working from that paradigm. So we're bringing you ultimately into a state of being highly intuitive, which is really just a symptom of knowing that you are part of the divine universe and that you are entitled to live a joy-filled life. And so my ultimate endpoint with all of my clients is to get them fearless. I want you to be unafraid. And in that lies the secret to everything. And that's my work, really. Fearlessness.
Nice. But how would you do that online? You're not going to touch me. How are you going to?
No, I can, actually some of my favorite readings are online. We use Zoom or Skype, and it's really exciting for me to work that way, because I think it takes away any impediments, any fears that the person might have that, what if this information isn't accurate or authentic? I don't have any information prior to going in, and, energy doesn't have any boundaries. It doesn't care whether we're sitting next to each other or we're across the planet. And so if I want to work on you energetically, I will just do it with intention. And I use a process which is called optimal EFT, which is really exciting, and we can talk about that more another time, which is really taking EFT or tapping, as it's more commonly known, out of the physical and straight into the energetic. So you don't even have to you don't even have to tap. You simply, we're working with pure energy, and it's a very exciting process. So yeah, it doesn't matter whether we're in the same room or whether we're across the country. We can get you fearless and really connected into your intuition.
That sounds so delicious. Oh my gosh. Every time I talk to you, I'm like, I have to go and work with Ricky. I'm like, oh no, I'm fine. And then you tell me again what you're like, oh no.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, is that, it's kind of like getting your car serviced. We don't do, if we take good care of our car, we don't do it when something goes wrong. We do it preventatively. And often people will come to me in crisis, because we wait until things have gone bad. But if you think about yourself if you think about your energy body and you think about taking care of yourself preventatively, we will always have things that we can clear. Even if our lives are blissfully joyful and delightful, there's always more layers that we can be working on and clearing out. So yeah, it's a really interesting thing that we often think we have to wait until the shit hits the fan before we seek out for ourselves. But we can just go in and say, okay, I'm great. How can I be fucking awesome? Like, let's take me higher. I want to be flying by the end of this session. And, that's entirely possible too, because we just take you from where you are to the next level. So, yeah, I agree. I think everyone should have a session. Of course I do.
Mitle, now I don't even know how to describe what you do anymore, because when I first saw you were doing something that seems so different to what you're doing now. I don't know what you do. What do you do?
Yeah, educate us. Educate us.
Some kind of coaching.
Oh my goodness. Well, to be honest, it's both of your faults that I don't know what I'm doing. So, yeah, when I started, can you still hear me?
Yes.
So, I've had a massive kind of business transformation, and I don't know, since starting NPM, I think it's just been like this chunk of space where things just started to align. Following Ricci-Jane is pretty tough, and I would recommend everybody who works with her because going to her training was it was a life-changing moment for me, because it reconnected me with something inside, and that's how it felt. It didn't feel like learning something new, but it felt like totally reconnecting with that intuition, that fearlessness at the end of the training, and you sort of share something, and it was just, that is how I feel. And since that, and writing out my big vision in NPM, I've just literally, life just feels like it's plopped into place. Like the first, literally, sorry, I'll stop rambling, but it's like the first time. So what I actually do, I started life in a coaching world. I started out as food and health coaching. And as much as I loved it, it never felt quite right. I couldn't understand why I wasn't loving it. And now what I do is I help people birth their vision and dreams. One client described me as a vision doula. I love I was like, yes, that's it.
Oh yeah, trademark that one. Trademark.
It's gorgeous, isn't it? So I have this, which again came through working with someone on my intuition a while ago. I have this beautiful ability to be able to see the big picture and just crack it down into the little practical steps that you need to take, and infuse that with this intuitive wisdom to sort of help you find your way. And I think enough of a sprinkling of magic and intuition, but with the solid, implementable, actionable steps. This is what we need to do, but that's in alignment with you and where you're wanting to go with that vision. The vision's yours. We just have to work out how you do it for you, how it fits with your values, your priorities, your time scale. And so that's what I do, and it's been so exciting. Clients are finding me and wanting me to work with them long term, and there's so much talk about niching, and I was thinking, I don't have a niche, I can help with anybody. But actually I now get that's my niche. It's that little ability to be able to, I've always believed in people and I've always helped them go after their big dreams. I just never realized I could do that actually in a more structured and more useful way. So, and then I help you celebrate at the end. I make sure that you celebrate yourself and what you've achieved. And so it's great. It's so much fun. I'm loving it. And, you know, I just want to talk about Ricci-Jane though, because her work is phenomenal. And I think everyone should work with her. Also, when I'm working with people, someone like Ricky, and I have a few other people kind of in my back pocket, we still have to work on our beliefs. And if you've got core limiting beliefs, I'm brilliant, but I won't be able to help you get there if there's something really blocking why you can't take those steps, why you can't bring that vision in. So I think we do need a team, and there are different aspects and that we need to work on. And we talk a lot about mindset, but we have to keep doing it. Mindset is that sort of, just as you think, yes, it's like, oh, here comes the next one.
Yeah.
And understanding that, going with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think surrendering to that, and once you accept that that is just part of our beautiful experience in this lifetime, it actually becomes a really fun journey. And it's kind of like, whoa, I've moved on. I'm at the next level now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I realize if we see it as a trajectory. Yeah, I think that's the thing, is that if we think that we're ever going to get to the end point where, you know, we're killing ourselves, because, you know, even our death is just a birth into the next level of our consciousness.
Absolutely.
And that can be really scary, because we kind of want to feel like we're going to figure all of this out at some point. And, you know, that, you know, when you get to that point, that's when you get to go and sit up in the sky with Buddha and Jesus and, you know, look down and smile because you figured it all out.
Yeah.
It's like,
we obviously wouldn't be here if we were at that level, unless we were some kind of other creature. But I notice when I'm climbing a mountain and I know I'm almost at the top, I give a little extra push. So, and this is like my syndrome, is that I always think I'm about to get to the top of the mountain. So I have spent a lot of my life pushing, thinking that I'm just about to nail it and it's going to be easier. And once there's this massive mountain here called Coolaga, which is a really sacred space, and I climbed that, and it's uphill the whole way, but I kept thinking I was about to get there, and I pushed myself the whole way. I was completely knackered, and I feel like that's such a good metaphor for how I was running my life for a long time, of thinking, like you said, that I was going to get all the answers and then everything was going to be sorted. And it's been taken me a while to figure that it is really that up level, pan out for a while, enjoy that, and then another layer of challenge comes in and we creep up to that, and then pan out for a while and integrate that learning, and then there's another, and on it goes.
And I think we've chosen to work in a way, because we're entrepreneurs, all of us would identify in that way. What I realized a little while ago, and it was a little bit destroying and then a little bit exciting, was, you know, every time I sell out a workshop, or every time, you know, I'm booked out with clients, you know, I get this incredible sense of, awesome. And then I go, oh shit, this is the rest of my life. Like, this is what I've chosen to do. I don't go and work for somebody else. And I run workshops, you know, 5-6 times a year, and I want all of them to be sold out, which means it's not like I sell out one and then I go, oh, done, awesome, sit back. Okay, now what? You know, like, we have chosen a very peculiar way to make our money. And when you compare that to that journey, as you say, of climbing the mountain, you know, we probably all identify as soulpreneurs or whatever, heart-centered entrepreneurs. You know, we're working for the benefit of the greater good, really, even though it's a financial model, because we have to live, and all the rest of it. It was that idea that I had to really make peace in myself with, you've chosen this. It's not like this is a burden that's been thrust upon you. And the other side of it, of course, is this incredible freedom to determine my own time and my hours and what I'm actually doing with my life, with, you know, the majority of the hours of my life. What am I actually doing? And it's what I've chosen to do. But I had to, just like you, break out of this mindset that I was unsustainable. I was running a sprint rather than a marathon. And it's so related to our soul work as well, you know, that the great, enormous, beautiful breakthroughs are just a tiny, tiny inkling of the magnificence of our soul. And, you know, we think that every time we hit one of those great breakthroughs that we're going to be, you know, free
for a day.
Dramas, like, because usually what happens is you you go high, and then you go, like, you feel like you come crashing back down. What goes up must come down. It's the law. But yeah, I feel like it really relates, that journey that you describe relates to how we make a living and what we do. And we want to be in it for the long run, and we want to see all of us thrive and or flourish. It's a good word. Dare to flourish even, you know, and that isn't, that's not like a one-time thing. You know, it means that we keep opening, we keep opening. Yeah, it's really fascinating.
It is yummy. And what would you do to me, Mitle, if I had a session with you? What would you do to me?
Oh my goodness, what wouldn't I do to you? So my sessions, I do a one-off session, which is 90 minutes. And then we basically, we try to start at the beginning, and depending on what the vision or goal is, obviously, we do sort of a package. So, but basically we look at the vision and then really try and clue into how that links with your values, your core values, what's really driving you, what it is that you really, truly want. Because sometimes the vision actually doesn't align with that. And I know from experience that that's never going to work. So that's kind of the initial work we do to really check in with that, and what you say you want to do, but actually what's, you know, what your values are, how you're filtering the world, how you're making decisions on a daily basis. Sometimes they actually don't fit. So we work with that. And once we're kind of clear on whether that goal or dream is a true fit, then we break that down. And that's where the sort of more practical stuff can come in. So we look at a timeline, we look at the practical steps that need doing. And I help people really we do quite a lot of questions, again, really trying to get to the core of the vision, what it is, why you want to do it, and then what it really is that you want to put out into the world, and what the bigger purpose of that is. And once you've done that, what next? And then we do the practical, you know, planning, step by step. This is your timeline, how can we get there? And I'll help you with research or whatever else that you need to do to actually implement that. So there is a lot of work involved. It is a bit like a doula. I can't actually birth it for you. You've got to go through that. But I can definitely be there to guide and support and help you work out how you want to birth it. So it's a fun process. It's quite deep. Like, it is project planning, but it's sort of soul project planning. Yeah. You get the practical steps, but we go deeper than that. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's gorgeous. I guess I always feel like, I don't really have a big vision. That's what comes up for me again and again, because I am so plugged in to my intuition that I just know in the moment what I have to do. And there's no, I don't know. I can make one up. If someone said to me, what's your vision? I'd be like, and I'll think something up. But I don't know. I just have some knowing thing. So I always go purpose. What does that even mean? What does that mean?
I know. And there's lots of talk about, there's lots of talk about purpose and vision, and perhaps vision, because I can help you with smaller projects. It doesn't have to be your life vision. I'm helping one lady at the moment get her beautiful business off the ground, because she's moving from home into a beautiful shared space. So it doesn't have to be like your big vision, but it's those goals, those things that you're trying to do at the moment. And I'm often working with women who have, that's why Dare to Flourish really came. Because it does take courage to step up into that. You know, lots of people have dreams that never ever get vaguely off the ground, and they don't have to be, you know, it's all, I don't know, everybody has something inside them, and stepping up and actually being prepared to risk and put that into the world, or even just to experiment with it and see whether you really want it to fly. Because like the idea is much more appealing than the reality.
Yeah, that makes me think of a friend of mine now. She's the classic. Like, she has amazing ideas and she implements nada. And maybe I'll put her on to you.
But I think the other thing about you, Berta, is that you are, you're already doing, what you do will grow, but you're already doing it. And I think, imagine that feeling of, I think what I'm hearing, Mitle, is that ultimately you're taking people from not being in a place where they might work at the bank, or they might be, they've never had a career of their own, or they might be whatever, and they don't know what lights them up, or they feel that there is that yearning to create something, but they've got no idea how to bridge that And I think perhaps, you know, this is a thing that often comes up with me with goal setting. I often get really put off by the idea because, like you, I'm like, well, I'm in my intuition. Like I know, you know, every moment, pretty much especially when I open to it intentionally, what I should be doing. But, you know, I've worked my ass off to get to that point. That isn't how I used to be.
Same.
And I didn't know 2 years ago whether this business would work, but I followed all of my intuition and I got stronger in my intuition. And so I think that what your niche, if I was going to call it that, is for people who are perhaps, you know, they're still at that point where it is unknown. Yes. And, you know, and it is, you know, there may be a vision, but as you say, there's no idea what the mechanisms are to bring that vision into reality. And perhaps then there isn't the self-worth or the self-belief to activate it either.
Yes, thank you, Ricky. That's absolutely right. And a lot of the women I work with, they are stuck in that cycle of, they just feel overwhelmed. You know, that classic not feeling where you two are, where you know what have to do next, sitting there thinking, I have no idea what to do next. I'm going to make a cup of tea and clean the house. It's like, I just, you know, they've found someone to come and take care of the kids. They've set up themselves an office. You know, they've done all these things, and then they're still like, I haven't done anything. I haven't written that children's book, and yet I've had 3 hours while the hubby took the kids, and I've just sat here staring at it. And that's when I work with them, because it's like, no, that's never going to work. We've got to look at what's really driving this and have proper steps to take you forward. So I love that, because it is that combination of big picture thinking, breaking it down, bringing in that intuition, but also practical steps so that they can, at the end of that 2-hour slot, they can go, I actually did something more than reorganize my office for the 10th time.
Oh my gosh. I've heard stories about that. I've just never been able to connect with that. I'm like, what? You mean the fridge is a thing? You have a problem about going to the fridge in the middle of work time? I don't know.
No.
And I
it's
just go like,
thing. It's a thing.
It just turns out of me, and I actually have to tear myself away. I have the opposite problem, but Julie,
so you're not her ideal client.
Don't come to me.
I love you so much. And Julie's in the house. Julie, let's talk to you. Are you ready to just launch straight in?
Me?
Yes.
What am I talking about?
Well, I'm going to tell everyone. I'm going to introduce you. I do my stupid version first. Not stupid, but my like surmise. I think that you're a clinical psychologist, but you actually have a
psychotherapist.
Thank you. You get to tell me your real interpretation after I've had my lame ass attempt. So hold out for me. Here I go. But you actually help women now. Like, you're developing a new process where you work with women to understand how to act better and make better decisions in their life so that they're not reactive. Is that close? How'd I go?
Yeah, it's close. It's working through their past, you know, pains and hurts, trauma, if you like. It's probably trauma is the best word to describe it, because there's 3 types of trauma. It doesn't have to be, you know, sexual abuse trauma. There's shock trauma, there's developmental trauma, there's attachment trauma, there's all sorts of trauma. So I have found that I do attract women that do have trauma in their past, which is no surprise because I have so much, so, you know, that I've worked through. And I find that about 40s, I'm attracting a lot of women in their 40s, where they're sort of reached a stage in their life where they're thinking, oh my God, you know, they're just repeating their same sort of pattern. Well, they're repeating patterns. They're getting new relationships, you know, relationships are breaking up, and then they're having breaks, and then they're, you know, their career, they're stuck in their career, or they're not sure if they're happy with that, they're happy with this. So it's a matter of going back down and reprogramming. It's not a matter of bringing up all the pain and, you know, bathing in it. It's just like acknowledging it, working through it, shifting through it, integrating it, and then moving on. And it is to do with the nervous system as well, because when we do experience trauma, it gets locked into our nervous system and into our cells. That cellular memory that's there, and it's locked. So when that happens, when something that's similar that comes in your energy field, say someone speaks to you or you hear a sound, a smell, a touch, then you automatically react from your past programming, because it's neurally wired to your brain through synapses, and bang, you know, this is how you're actually reacting and not responding. And it's an automatic default patterning. So I've done it. I mean, you know, all of a sudden I'd be like sitting there thinking, and something will come up between my husband, Hamish, and I, and all of a sudden I can feel it. You know, I can feel the energy moving in me and the tingling and the tightness in the throat or the gut. And I just feel like going, what the fuck? You know, and just going like a crazy woman and telling him off. And, you know, and that's what it is. It's this inner fucking craziness that takes over. And it's almost like, you know, oh my God, you know, fuck you. You're not going to do that to me. I am going to punish you, and I'm going to do this to you. And I'm either going to like get angry at you now, or I'm going to withdraw and make you suffer, you know?
Yeah.
And like, it's working through that and coming into yourself and going, hang on a minute, something's going on for me here. It's me, you know, and stop putting it outside of yourself and outside of themselves. And it's like, come on, own it, commit to it, get in there, work through it. So that's what it's about.
That's
baby.
epic. I actually did that exact thing on the weekend, because we had a public event, right? And it was a thing that people asked me to come and DJ. And every time people ask me to DJ, so much stuff comes up. It's like entrepreneurism. It's like the ultimate self-help program that you put yourself through. And there's this group of people that in my mind, I unpacked it at the chopping board this morning. I was like, oh, that wasn't actually them. That was actually me projecting onto them that they're the cool kids. And these other people are the people who, you know, that I've decided unconditionally love me, and I can do anything with them. But actually, potentially, everybody unconditionally loves me. But I've actually created this setup in my head where those people represent this old group of people from back in high school. And so I reacted to them like I used to react to them in high school. And it's not actually true at all. I was just like, oh my God, look what I've been doing. I've just been tripping out. So I think between the three of you women, it's like the ultimate, you just have an ultimate life transformation. You just work through. Basically.
And for me, you know, I've only got 2 sons and I didn't have a daughter, but now I've got my stepdaughter living here with us, and oh my gosh, you know, because I was thinking, I've snuck through that one, because, you know, my mother and myself, the relationship wasn't that great.
Yeah.
But now,
whole new stuff.
Me a stepdaughter, and he's in my face, and I can like feel all the stuff that's coming up for me around that. And I'm like, just breathe. And I do, you know, tell myself in my brain, do what you teach, do what you teach. But it's so interesting, you know, because I was like inside having a little delightful, gleeful, you know, I've got away with it, but no, I haven't. No, it's here. Through it.
Yeah. And it keeps on. We were just saying before you landed with us that it's that whole constant up-leveling that goes on, and you think you've got there, and then the next challenge comes on. So if you and I were going to have a session, what would you do to me?
What would I do? Well, I'd check in and I'd ask you, you know, get a bit of information about where you are in your life, and, you know, what are your 3 main concerns about what's not flowing, what's not, you know, if you're not going forward, what is it, where is it, how do you want to get there, what are your, you know, how committed you are to it, because I would need to know all that before I would start doing work, because I wouldn't want to work with someone that's sort of a little bit too still not really committed to it, because it's a big process and it's quite deep work, and the breath work's brilliant, but I need to be in person with that. But I can still do breath work via Skype, I've discovered, but only like smaller processes, not a really deep process. So I can do that. And then I would probably assess from that, and I have got the process that I'm putting together, the program now, which has changed from my first 7 steps. So I'm just working all that out now, but it's, where's my pad? Because I haven't got it all completely nutted out, but I've started. So, you know, it's looking at, I suppose, obviously it's boundaries, behavioural patterns, growing awareness to your thoughts and words, disconnection, painful feelings, like I want to deal with painful feelings. I want people to talk about painful feelings, because, you know, we're taught that, oh no, you know, we just have to get on with it, suck it up, move on. No, we need to actually allow that out. Tuning in and noticing, looking at victim mentality and love and connection. So
I love it.
That'll all, it's probably not going to be all of those. It will be all of those, but I'll condense it down. And I'm doing Tasha's, you know, program, and it's just a matter of coming up with not making it too, what is it, like hard, and keeping it simple. I mean, hard in the sense that I don't make it too academic or try to make, you know, the client, like, they don't need to know all the things that I know. They just need to know the basic steps on how to move from A to B to C. So that's the program that so that's different to how I'd work with you. If you were working with me in the room, then I would just, depending on what you're doing, if you wanted to do the 10 sessions of rebirthing, then I would go through mother, father, childhood and things like that, and do, like, have the 10 sessions mapped process that you'd work through, because mother and father things are biggies anyway for us. And your birth process too, that can come up, that can be a big trauma load up, is actually our birthing process. So that's something to look at too. Because we start to learn in the womb, you know, whatever's going on when we're carrying a child, that child is picking up stuff, things are downloading throughout the birth stages, and there's all of that, you know. If say, for example, if there's conflict with the parents, or there's, you know, a lot of abuse, verbal abuse, whatever there is, you know, you weren't a wanted child, you're an accident, all that stuff is encoded, like it goes in, because it's an energetic thing. So
I totally get that. My mum's
and sometimes, you know, people just get stuck, and they try lots of different therapies and lots of different modalities, and they keep going back. I've just got someone I'm talking to now. She's tried NLP, she's done some therapy, you name it, she's done it. And until you actually go in and clear, like, the core and the root stuff, you know, you're just going to keep defaulting. And it is, like I said, you know, it's the nervous system plays a big part in it. The flee response, you know, such a huge thing. And I think people aren't really aware of that, you know, as much as it's starting to come out a lot more now. Yeah. So I think, you know, that's what I do, really.
It sounds good. It sounds like you're all doing such similar work, and it's interesting to me how there's just a different language pattern associated with each process. It feels like the human process is something that just has to happen, and then we need people to accompany us on that journey, because we need support, or we energetically, I know whenever I get anywhere near Ricci's energy field, something starts happening to me. It's like we just need that science, like there's oxygen and carbon, and what happens when you put together, there's like Ricci and Natasha, and what happens, it's like, ooh, like this positive growth happens. So it's really just getting our chemical mix right, that we get with the people who are going to, you know, change up our energy field so that we can make those next steps. It's very deliberate.
Yeah. And I think that's the truth of it, is that we are much more interesting and complex, as well as far more simple than we realize. And that, you know, we are, you know, I agree with you, Julie, completely about the foundation stone. I feel like that's kind of the basis of my work as well. It's like there's no point building anything on top of a faulty foundation.
Absolutely.
Because it's all over. So it doesn't matter how lofty or noble or positive your thoughts are, or how great you are at goal setting. If the foundation is quicksand, you're going to lose all of that very quickly. Like you can't, you have to make those shifts, those changes, you know, and the difference in language or semantics between, you know, what Julie does and what I do would simply be, you know, the idea of that not only does that baby in utero have all of the downloads of experiences from, you know, the growth time, that they've also brought in all of these lifetimes of experience with. And possibly that's part of your belief system also, Julie, and maybe it's just something that, you know, the way you work with your clients, but, you know, that we are on a continuum of experience. But if we don't begin with the foundation, and if we don't acknowledge the fear which sits in the foundation, you know, then and really then actively shift out the fear, we're just building, you know, castles in the sky. There's no substance to them.
Yep, I agree.
Back to the fridge.
And that is a good place to go if you don't want to feel your feelings. It's very true.
Yeah, and it's interesting. My mum was grieving her mother's death when she was pregnant with me, and it's taken so long to shift that. Well, it's still ongoing to shift that sadness that's not even mine. Do you know what I mean? It's like, out all this time, just this weight and sadness. Like that doesn't belong to me. So, yeah, it's interesting to look at all the different layers that we are, and there's so much work to be done.
And none at all.
And none at all. Yeah, well, that's right.
Energetically shake that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, this is the thing with, you know, talk therapy. You know, I can talk to the cows come home, and I mean, this you know, talk therapy with just seeing a counselor just talk. It's like, no, you know, you've got to actually emote as well, and you've got to like move your body. It's a body-mind connection, and I could never be a therapist that just sat there and just said, oh yes, and tell me more. How did that make you feel? Oh God, I'd pull my freaking hair out if I had to work like that.
But also, you know that you weren't making any real difference. You know, like that's the thing, is that you can't. Yeah, I'm with you. I think, you know, pranayama and yoga. I mean, yoga has probably been, you know, getting on the mat. I get on the mat now. I just lie there waiting for the teacher, and I'm having like these waves of ecstasy come over me, because I know what's going to happen is unlocking all of this stuff through movement. And you know, what I love about the way we're all talking, and I think you do it too, Berta, with what you do with your clients, is that, you know, we're all unlocking people in different ways, but with the same outcome, and that is to be fearless, to use the language that I would use, or to find that sense of freedom that comes from a really strong foundation of self-worth. And you know, ultimately, the reason why we all exist in all the many, many different ways that there are to work on this stuff is, you know, it's each person out there will have a different language they resonate with, and a different level they want to come in at and work with. And I find it also, I love the synchronicities, I guess, is what I'm saying.
And it's true, I do marketing, but I end up often get someone in with me who's in a tears, and because of the way my energy works, I go to them. But once I recognize what's going on, and I come back to my field, and then be present with my experience, and then let them remember that they have all they need, and that we also have intellectually an amazing structure, a marketing plan, and all of these things, then the magic happens, and then I see them resettle into their centeredness, and then we're ready to actually take steps forward. So there's a lot going on, but I know Mitle has to go, and we all have to go, so I wanted to quickly mention
I just wanted to say quickly though, sorry, lovely. I just wanted to just pick up on what Ricky was saying there, and just that importance of, we do similar but very different work, but that there is, we all have clients. There's people out there who need everything that we offer, even though it's different, and maybe a lot of overlapping. Because I know when I started, and I think I posted this in our Facebook group, it's really easy for me to kind of look where I would say like upwards at you three beautiful ladies and think, well, what is it that I can do? But there is that space, and that just to me is gorgeous, that there's people for all of us, and people find who they need at that time. I hope, and then that's how it works. And I love that, and that's taken me a long time to understand, because with that personal growth, as you grow, I can tend to dismiss where I was and forget that there are people there who I can still help, even though. So anyway, that wasn't very eloquently put.
I love that. So true.
I'm not feeling great.
No, I think that's so true. And especially if you're in startup mode and you're thinking, but there's you get comparisonitis and look at everyone who is where you want to be moving. And I think I find that with that fifth dimension experience, it's like, I am aware of where I will be right now. Like I can feel that now. But there's that dissonance because I am actually in this now. And then the now that was, it's just, it all gets really confused in my head. And I think it can be really challenging to experience all that different levels of knowing in this moment and actually know what to do. You're like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Breathe.
Yes.
Breathe.
Just come back to your little sweet place. That's a good place to end. I think Ricci-Jane has an amazing group, but you should decide what you tell people what you want to. Everyone just go and tell them somewhere that they can find you. Where would we find you?
Yes. Well, I think that would be ideal if anyone would like to join. I am a light worker, all caps, all uppercase,
On Facebook.
On Facebook. That is just a really beautiful online space to connect to people who identify as light workers, people who have no idea what that word means but like the sound of it, people who are aspiring to be that and don't realize they already are, and anyone who has a heart-centered business that they would like to have a great space to share. There's multiple days in which you can share your offer, and on Wednesday you get a free reading from me and multiple other people now as well. So yeah, I'd love to join me there.
It's a good group. And Mitle has a gorgeous group. Mitle has some internet connection.
I have a beautiful group. It's called can you, oh my goodness, can you hear me? I'm just going to keep talking.
Yeah.
Yes, I do have a group. It's Dare to Flourish. Yes, that's full of beautiful women daring to flourish by doing things their way. So that's what we work on in there. But it's it's a good group for sharing, and we have an offer day once a week.
It's a gorgeous group, and Julie has a gorgeous freebie. Unless there's something else. You've got a gorgeous freebie.
I don't have a group because I kind of think, oh my gosh, I have to commit to being on it and getting in there, and
I don't have a group either. Don't worry.
And I just don't know if I have the space for that at the moment.
It's not a group. You have a gorgeous opt-in, so how will people find that?
I have put it out through a sponsored ad on Facebook.
Maybe
and I did offer it once in the group, the heart-centered group, but I don't think anyone hit on it. So it could be the way I've written it, I'm not sure. So maybe I need to offer that more in groups and get a bit more involved in groups.
Well, who knows? But you're at Conscious Calling on Facebook.
Yeah, Conscious Calling. Yeah, Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, and you have that gorgeous freaking Instagram account. Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love your Instagram.
Everyone.
Everyone.
I love your Instagram.
You can get it. You can get the opt-in on the Instagram as well.
Which is Conscious Calling as well.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks, women. Oh, and these
Thank you. Hey,
Prowess Mastermind,
Ricky,
which is running again.
I went on to register for your webinar, but I wasn't able to do live, but I didn't get a replay. Did you not send out a replay?
I did send out a replay. I will send you the link, my dear.
Thank you.
I'll share it probably in the marketing group, Marketing Prowess.
Okay, great. Yeah, because I wanted to have a look. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And the Marketing Prowess Mastermind is where we all worked together, and that's something I run. And I'm running another one on August the 16th, and then I'll be running them again and again.
Work with Berta.
It was beautiful, wasn't it? It was a lovely time. And we learned marketing as well as hang out with other gorgeous, divine women. And yeah, it's a very supported way to get clear about your marketing process and get really savvy on how to grow your business. So
do stuff like
that at bit.ly/Berta Mastermind. Or it's the pin paste on my post on my Facebook page. Oh my goodness. Thank you for making it out this morning, you goddesses. 3 gorgeous women. Oh my gosh.
Have fun of Vipassana.
Oh, I will. I'm going to be very quiet on the outside.
Yeah, because otherwise they'll throw you out. I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
So are you just going to meditate like is that all you're going to do for the whole time? I was like, well, I'll eat breaks, and then I get breaks to go to the toilet and bathroom. But yeah, I am. And you find when you sit very still and be very quiet that there's actually a lot going on. And it's really interesting. And he's at that age where he's very interested in what I have to say. So I'm just making the most of this time before it changes.
All right.
See you gorgeous ones. I'll stop recording.